Welcome back to 10 Minutes with Kuhle, the only show where we say the quiet part out loud and louder and quite louder. If you're a CEO trying to reinvent apartheid, today we're diving into how one of South Africa's most successful companies decided to cancel white toddlers. Yes, toddlers. Because apparently you can be too white to deserve help, so no more assistance for you. Let's start with the genius minds at Bidvest. This South African corporate darling built on sweat, hustle, and the free market, though it was a good idea to launch a bursary program. Sounds great, right? But wait for it. The only part is white employees' kids were excluded on purpose. As in, we only help your child if they tick the right pigmentation. So, to make you understand this, this had to do with PDPs, which was previously disadvantaged persons, and the rest, blah, blah, blah. So now Dirk Herman from Solidarity came in, like Liam Neeson, in taking writing letters to the US, to US shareholders and exposing the scheme. So basically, he went to the US and exposed what was happening in Bidvest and these race based policies that they were using to the US shareholders so that they can be economic exclusion on Bidvest. And obviously, the big dogs, Marco Rubio, Westwood, Global Lazard, Asset Management, because surprise, Bidvest has 25% US ownership. Guess they didn't think about that when they were scripting down these racist policies. Now, let me ask you this. Walmart said, we don't fund scholarships for black kids. What would CNN do? What would the UN do? What would Twitter say? X rather. But what would they say? But Bidvest says we're excluding white children because of their skin color and the fact that supposedly they were previously advantaged during apartheid. And suddenly it's transformation. You know who didn't respond? Do you know who really didn't? The Bidvest CEO. He sent out a PR guy called Julian Willem. Imagine burning down your brand with an HR bonfire, then sending your communications guy with a bucket of petrol. That is what happened. Now, to make matters worse, here's the kicker. This bursary is for low income employees. Cool, that makes sense. These aren't trust fund babies. These are the forgotten white working class. Because they are also white people. The ones BEE quotas and EWC policy locked out of opportunities long ago. But somehow, helping them is offensive to the new moral order. Now, remember, this isn't charity. It's punishment, it's payback, and it's an HR that is killing this company. And in case you were wondering if this is just a Bidvest thing, well, the answer is nope, because we've seen companies such as Dischem, MTN, Old Mutual, all proudly marching in the same racially divisive parade, which is actually excluding whites from accessing the economy. But don't worry, this wasn't some rogue HR intern. This was a decision made with full knowledge of its implications that it will have. While America is dismantling DI because of the backlash, South Africa is trying to be the woke capital of Africa. Obviously, without electricity, functioning trains, and a lot of potholes in the street. The cherry on top is McKinsey, the same consultancy that gave us the Gupta state. Remember them? The same consultancy that gave us state capture masterclasses published a report claiming diversity boosts profit. Turns out that report was built on data as fake as a Bell Pottinger apology. One of the authors quit McKinsey and became, wait for it, a music teacher. At least he learned to play something other than the race card. We'll give him credits for that. So, meanwhile, we're told that, white exclusion is just justified because historical injustice happened, apartheid this, apartheid that. But, sure, because 6-year-old Thabo is totally responsible for the Group Areas Act, and 6-year-old Peter must carry that blame like a school bag full of rocks. And if you oppose this madness, you're called all sorts of names. You're called anti-transformation, as if transformation means replace one injustice with another. And obviously sell it as progress. Just can't make some of these things up. Now, let's talk shareholders. Bidvest has major American investors, right? From Bidvest Bank and the rest. Now, Solidarity is playing the smart. They're hitting them where it hurts, which obviously is reputation and risk. No US investor wants their brand associated with racial exclusion and a big focus on previous history, especially in the middle of a DEI backlash at home. So Bidvest is left holding the torch, the one they used to burn their credibility. And that is hurting their shares, and we've seen their shares going down. So, ladies and gentlemen, South Africa, the world is watching you. And this has to stop. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. This has been 10 Minutes with Kuhle. I hope you have enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and sign up for channel membership. It's as cheap as 20 Rand. Till next time.